What's up, everybody? Alex here from the Green Up Academy podcast. Hope you guys are doing great wherever you're listening. Wanted to intro this episode to you. We're here at the Green Up Academy. By the way, if you're a new listener, this podcast, we talk about how to level up your green industry business, whether it's finances, marketing, employee, culture development, all the things that happen within business day to day, leadership. We try to help you do that. So in this episode today, we're going to be talking about culture, what it is, how you build it, and why it's one of the hardest things to put your thumb on in your business. It's a word we've all heard. It's a word that for any great football team, any sport team, you've heard they had a great culture, so to speak, when they win a championship. Well, when you're trying to win at life and win in business, culture is super important. And so we're going to be talking about that in this episode. I hope I have a lot of great information for you to apply to your business today. So let's jump into it.
Welcome to the Green Up Academy podcast with Alex Kirby, where we focus on helping you level up your green industry business. Whether it's marketing, finance, employees, or strategy, we talk about everything on this show to help you apply it to your business and change your family and company's future for decades to come. Here's your host, Alex Kirby.
Well, hey guys, welcome back. Good to see and talk to you guys today here on the Green Up Academy podcast. Hope everything's going well for you. It's been pretty crazy here in South Carolina. We had that Hurricane Debbie, and it brought like 13 inches of rain, and a lot of guys up the coast haven't mowed in a week. And then one of our crew members here at the Academy, John Harward, who looks just like Morgan Wallen, by the way, he was saying they hadn't mowed since August 1st, and I'm recording this August 14th, I think. So it's 2 weeks. It's raining so much. Hope you guys are great. We are really, really close to 2 months from Equip Expo. So that's really exciting. And I hope you guys have signed up to go to that. We are going to have a little Airbnb house. So available to hang out there. And we talked about this a little bit. It's going to be, something we discuss later, but we have the Green Up Gathering. So just make sure you keep your eyes out for that event. It's going to be 40 people only, and it's going to be awesome. So make sure you sign up for that through Instagram or on our website. It's the easiest place to do it. It's just right there on our website, our homepage. Scroll down a little bit and say sign up. So excited for that. So today, guys, we're going to be talking. I'm going to jump right in because I know you guys are working and you're like, hey, man, I want to get some learning in while I'm mowing this grass or building this retaining wall. So today we're going to be talking about culture, and this episode is going to be called Culture, How to Build the Elephant in the Room. And so I think, as a guy who played baseball, if you guys are new to the show, I guess I'll introduce myself a little bit real quick. My name is Alex, and you're asking yourself, why should you listen to me? Hey, you have to decide that for yourself. But I did have a fairly successful lawn and landscape company I sold last year. And we had 25 employees, and we were, multiple six figures in revenue, and we were debt free, and we did a lot of things that the industry, a lot of you guys knew us from. We had, we kind of started the 410s model going through in the industry. We had the best uniforms you've ever seen. We did a lot of cutting edge things, and so and no debt was a big one. So I was talking about no debt online quite a bit, and one of the things that we tried really hard to do, and today I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly of how I did well with that, and then looking back how I didn't do well with that, was trying to build a culture because, as we all know, employees in the green industry is one of our biggest hangups. It's very, very difficult to find people who show up, do what they say they're going to do, don't call out, don't ask for $45 an hour to run a weed eater, and just you can depend on, right, and trust. And in our Landscapers Lounge group, if you guys are on Facebook, I want you to go add yourself to the Landscapers Lounge. That's our cool Facebook group where we just talk landscaping all day. Dustin Penley, who's been a guest on the show, he had the funniest thing. I'm recording this on Wednesday, so he said on Monday morning he has 2 employees, and he said, "Well, it's a good Monday. Only 1 out of 2 called out this week," and I just thought that was hilarious because that is a good week for most of you if at least half your people show up on a Monday, because that's just how it is, right? It's just tough at times, and some, there's some things you can do about it. There's some you can't, and one of the things you can control is the culture you build. And so let's dive into like, what does that even mean, Alex? And I kind of define culture as this phrase. I wrote this. I don't think I got it from anywhere. It's just kind of what I think about culture. Culture is the atmosphere and the attitudes that make up a team or an organization and how they interact with one another. So I've talked to you guys a little bit. I was a big baseball player. I played competitive baseball my entire life, was a, kind of a top 50 recruit in our state. And that's not a flex. I'm just letting you know the level I was at, and was able to get a lot of scholarship opportunities to go in college, and played at a Division II school called Newberry, which I loved, and was able to play and start a lot of games there and had a great career. And so high-level baseball was something that, I played on one travel team where there's 3 guys in the big leagues right now on that team. So I got to see at a high level what building a great culture looks like, or what doesn't look like. And I can tell you that culture is easily one of the things that everyone kind of knows, but no one really understands. So it's like culture, this, and what is that? It's like a taboo. It's like a sexy word, right? Excuse me. And so I think I summarized it as the 2 things that I saw in my career in business and in baseball is culture is a lot about the atmosphere that the leadership or the owners or the captains, the leaders of the team, if you will, it's the atmosphere that they create. It's the vibes, it's the energy. You've heard about it with football teams, right? You've got, your old school coach. There's no music in the locker room. Everything's business. And then you've got maybe your younger coach where, hey, if the team's doing well, or if they're, everything's vibey, everything's rap music all the time. There's snacks everywhere. You're wearing gold chains. There's different atmospheres that people create. And then the other side of that with the attitudes, that means personalities. That's the people. So culture is a lot about the people you put in the room, right? If you're at Yale, you have a certain personality that's in that school, in that football team, in that organization, because it takes a certain person to go to Yale. If you're at your local technical college in, Roebuck, South Carolina, in the cornfields, you're going to have a certain type of individual there. So it's about the type of people you have on your team that you hire as well, and that you put into the room. So you mix those things, the atmosphere and the attitudes, and you get this thing we call culture. And culture is such a driving force, because culture is sort of like oxygen. You can't see it, but you need it. And when you breathe it in, you're like, man, this is great. But when you don't have it, you're huffing and puffing, and it's hard, and you're struggling, and nothing seems to go well. And so culture is, for us in the lawn and landscape industry, with the types of personalities that we find ourselves interviewing, coming to the table, culture is such an impactful part of your health of your business. It is so important. It helps you keep going. If you have bad culture, it makes you want to quit and take your ball and go home. If you have good culture, it motivates you to help these guys, and it motivates you to show up and get your boots dirty and turn on the mower and do all those things with them. So that's kind of like the summarization of culture, and we're going to go over a few of the main things here in a second. But first, I want to talk to you for just a second about the Green Up Gathering we have coming up in Louisville. If you guys don't know, Equip Expo is what I call the Super Bowl for landscapers. It's every mid-October. I think this year it's October 15th through 18th or something, Tuesday to Friday. And we are having our first ever Green Up Academy event called the Green Up Gathering Wednesday night at 6:30, October 16th, at Main Event, which is like Dave & Buster's, but way cooler. So we're going to have our own private room. I'm going to give a talk to you guys about 2025. And kind of what things we're going to be doing, and what things I think could be the theme for the year, and things I can help you with. It's limited to 40 people, so it's going to be a really intimate and close event. It's only $60, and that gets you a buffet of barbecue and all these great foods, unlimited arcade, bowling, and we're doing a lot of giveaways with Ballard products and some more. So you guys make sure that you sign up for that. We've already got, I think we're on the way to a fourth of the tickets being gone, and we just launched like 48 hours ago. So we probably will only have 15, 20 tickets in the next few days is my guess as you guys listen to this and stuff like that. So y'all make sure you go sign up to the Green Up Gathering. I want to hang out with you. It's going to be a time to network, hang out. It's going to be a great night because it's Wednesday night, so there's still a lot of time to do other stuff. So now that we've said that, let's jump back in to kind of the key points I want to talk about with culture, okay? Let me talk to you about the things that, a lot of you guys kind of knew Trifecta, my landscape company, which was our original Instagram page. You guys knew a lot about what we did. Culture was something I really tried to build. And, I did some things well. I did some things poorly. And I'm going to kind of, be transparent about that so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. One of the things that I, from day one of, no matter if I had one employee or three, is I treated it like it was a business. And I often tell you guys, you don't want your employee to think, hey, I work for a guy. You want them to think, hey, I work for this company. And, I don't like the term helper. I know a lot of people in the industry use, oh, my helper didn't show up. I would love for that word to go away because that implies, that there's not this sense of equalness of value. Oh, my helper didn't show up. Like, it just makes me like have a bad taste in my mouth. And so by the time we had 2, 3, 4 employees, we were having team meetings. I was getting biscuits for the team. We were sitting down and having our voices heard. And I was asking guys their opinions and their thoughts and just trying to show that I valued what they had to say. And so I'd love to encourage you, if you're a smaller guy, to start doing that sooner than later. And if you're a guy listening who's got multiple crews, lots of people, make sure that your meetings have a little meat to them. Don't just make them informational. Okay? Don't just make them, hey guys, good to see everybody. Here's 3 things. See you next time. One of the things that I tried to do every meeting we had a 15, 20-minute meeting on Mondays. Usually we had a crew leader meeting before that. So that would be 7 to 7:30 crew leader meeting and 7:30 everybody. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because we ran 410s, we just had a 5-minute huddle. But I'd make sure that we prayed, like asked for prayer requests. We talked about one main topic of how we could be better this week. And then we just asked everybody how they're doing and tried to show love and value there. And so having those team meetings really set the tone. And I know a lot of guys I talk to don't have them. Man, we're just getting in the truck. We're getting going. Well, I don't think it sets you up for a great start to the day. I don't think it sets you up for, again, bringing that camaraderie. So it's the environment you create. And I think team meetings is really important. One thing I did really poorly that I kind of want to hone in on a little bit, if you will, is I'm going to open this Dr. Pepper, boys. Dr. Pepper's my thing. One thing that I wish I had done better, and I didn't really realize it until the last 6 months, was that I often had kind of what I call a silent agenda. And I really wanted XYZ results, whether that be guys changing, becoming better people, guys doing a better job. Like I had these things I wanted as outcomes. And I think my guys could sense that in a way. And so it made them not open up as much as I would have hoped. Now, I tried to have a meeting every month after shift was over to talk to every guy on my team. So I had a list and I would check it off and try to find 10, 20 minutes to talk to each guy, see how they're doing. It's not that I know they know I care. I know they know I cared. But because I wasn't coming down to where they were, but asking them to come up to where I was in terms of where they are, in their day, their life, it created a little bit of a barrier, I think. And so I wasn't as relatable. I wasn't as comfortable as I could have been as a leader for my organization for the culture building. So, and I sort of put them in positions and I think some of this is good, like I kind of forced their hand. I tried to force culture instead of build culture is the way I would say it. So I had speakers and I had events and I had baseball games and I had breakfast and Christmas parties and all that stuff. And I thought it was really important. But what I've come to find out over the last like 12 months is that guys really didn't care that much. They would have rather gotten $100 because they need to pay their light bill rather than us giving them a $20 ice cream gift card and a meal. And I'm just being honest. Like I just overvalued it. And I'm not saying those things don't matter. I think guys were in some ways grateful. But what I'm saying is just because I did all that, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm saying just because I did all that didn't mean I was building a good culture. Those things don't replace the things that build culture, which is time, love, and listening. And I think at times I didn't listen as much as I tried to tell people, well, here's what you need to do. And they weren't asking me for that. You know, I should have created, I'm realizing this kind of more on right now, this part here. I should have created more of an opportunity to listen than to speak. And that's what I'm trying to get at. And that's something that I did a poor job of. I thought because I had a lot to give that guys would want it instead of just making myself available. And, you know, Mr. Gary Mazzana a few weeks ago was on the show. He's a very successful lawn and landscape owner. If you guys haven't listened to his interview, I'd love you to. He talked about how he, even with 100 employees, every week or two would go out in the field and work alongside his guys so they saw that he would get his boots muddy and that he would work in the exact same ways that he was asking them to work. And that's something I did a poor job of. I rarely went out after the first couple of years, maybe a couple times a year, and got my boots dirty and did all the stuff my guys do. Now in the mornings I would help them load up and unload and stuff, but I just failed there. And I don't want you to do the same. And I know a lot of you guys probably are like, dude, I don't do that. I just got caught up with the paperwork and the growing the company, getting the schedule right, that these things that build culture, which building culture gets guys to work hard, buy in, believe, want to be a part of something greater than themselves. I lost that a little bit, and we were getting it right towards the end, but I just want you to learn from my mistakes. I have a great story about this culture building that from Corey Ballard. I was up in like 2019 visiting him. And by the way, guys, we have with code GreenUp10 at Ballard Products, you get 10% off any purchase forever that you use on their website. So that's ballard-inc.com. GreenUp10 gets you 10% off forever, not just one time, but anytime you buy anything. But I went up there in 2019. Corey and I connected at GIE, which is now Equip, and I wanted to see, like, I had heard about Perfect Cut, his company, and I was like, man, I got to see that. So I went up there and I got a shop tour and everything. Well, the first morning I was there, it was like a Wednesday morning. I got up there at 6 a.m., which was early. I was like, man, I don't even get at my shop at 6 a.m. So I got there at 6, and it was literally just Corey, and I saw one other car. And so we go in, he's giving me a tour, and I see a guy like sweeping trash in, like, you know, like how you have like a trash, like the thing that you sweep into, one hand on the broom, one hand on the thing that it goes into. And he's in there like mechanic area. And I'm like, Corey, a few minutes later, he says, hey, whatever. I was like, who is that guy? And what's he doing? Why is he cleaning up trash at 6:05 in the morning? He's like, oh, that's our co-owner, Matt. That's the guy I sold a part of the company to. And I'm like, what? He's like, Matt's a big believer that you lead from the front and you do all the things that you ask everyone else to do. And I was like, completely floored. Could not believe he was there doing that. And then it got even better. So then all the crews there, they've got 100 guys rolling out in, you know, like 18 trucks. Matt, Corey, and the other couple, like division managers, so the high ups, had this line of cleaning. So they had like 2 guys on each side. A truck would come up, they'd stop, they would clean off their headlights, they'd clean off their tires, they would high five every guy, and they'd rinse off the car, and then they'd leave. And so I asked Corey again, I was like, why do you guys do that? He's like, we want to cheer on the guys before they go out and work their butts off all day. And we want them to see that we're willing to help them succeed, if that's even cleaning off their truck a little bit before they drive out all day. And I just was floored by it. I could not believe that's what they chose to do for their first hour every day, basically. And here's the sad thing is I never really took that to heart myself. Whether it be sitting there when guys are filling up gas, I should have every morning that first hour helped guys, sweat, load pine straw, load materials, whatever. And I definitely did at times, for a few minutes, like every week, 1 day a week, I definitely did a little bit, but it wasn't a priority for me. It wasn't a routine. It wasn't something that was instilled in my values. And I had to make sure there was nothing I was going to do to miss that. And I know a lot of you guys listening don't really have crews. You maybe have 1 or 2. But what I'm trying to say with this is culture is everything. Those guys work their butts off for Perfect Cut. They'll work their butts off for you. They'll be so appreciative if they know that you are right where they are. If you are creating that atmosphere that we're talking about of hard work and you're stepping up to the plate and doing the same thing. There were times where I failed in this, and that's why I'm trying to use this experience to don't do that, what I did. I gave guys nice things. I was generous. I gave them extra bonuses, all that stuff. But when it came down to like coming down to their level and playing on the same field as them, I think I failed there sometimes. And so that's the atmosphere part that I'm trying to create. And then kind of the last part of this culture thing was we talked about attitudes, and this is kind of where we did a really solid job is hiring the right people. I wanted to kind of give you these 3 things to ask when you're wondering what types of people to hire. You have to ask the right questions. So here's 3 good questions that I would ask for building the right attitudes on your team, the right people. Number 1, ask them, how much does family mean to you? And tell me about your family. If you see their eyes light up when they're talking about their family, that means they have something motivating them to work really hard. So I think that's a great question to ask. The second, what would your last place you work tell me about you? It's a really great question to ask. If they talk trash about their old employer and, oh man, this guy, but that means they're going to talk bad about you, and they're already in a bad place because they think you're going to screw them. So that's number 2. What would your last employer tell me? And the third one is, I loved asking, what are your goals and dreams? Because, landscaping for most guys is not a 10-year career at one place. But if you can say, well, for the next year or 2, I want to save up money, I want to learn this skill, and blah, 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 I want to do this. If a guy is telling you kind of where he wants to go and doesn't say those things like, well, man, I just need a paycheck, I need a job. We all know those guys who need a paycheck, need a job, they're there for 30 days and they get a quarter more to go somewhere else, and then they're gone. So those are 3 questions, guys, I think that can help you weed out those personalities, attitudes for culture. That'll be really helpful. So that was a lot, but I think culture is so important. It's like the winds to your sails, so to speak, of your ship. You've got this beautiful ship, but if you don't have a good culture, it's really hard to get across the ocean. And I think that if you can get this culture thing right, and if you want to talk more about it, I'd love to have a business coaching call with you or just chat with you online. Make sure you email me at alex@thegreenupacademy.com. I think culture can be a deciding factor for you moving forward. So I'm looking forward to meeting you guys at Equip. I'm looking forward to the Green Up Gathering. Make sure you guys sign up for that. Last thing, we need some reviews on Apple Podcasts. So please go leave us a 5-star review. And guys, it means so much to me that you take time to listen to these episodes. Shout out Producer Mac. Thanks for everything, guys. We'll see you next time.